So last night I accidentally fell asleep at 7:30. And let me tell you what happens when you go to sleep at 7:30, especially when you sleep with a cat. Cat makes you sleep. But then suddenly you've slept for 10 hours and your body's like, "Wake up." And then you wake up and it's 5 a.m. So that's what I did today. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I also decided to put on too much makeup for this video, so please enjoy that. I watched some movies because I was awake and couldn't sleep. And I decided to watch my way through a few movies that I had on my Netflix queue that had been sitting there for a while. So the first one was came out. It's a Netflix original. It came out last month. It's Stephanie Lang's Irreplaceable You. It's written by Beth Wall and stars Gugu and Mbatha-Raw, my fave. And so that's my third Gugu film directed by a woman for the week, pretty much. Woohoo! It also co-stars Michiel Huisman. I'm probably butchering this poor guy's name. He's from the Netherlands. But I was like, why does he look really familiar? And then I discovered that he is in The Invitation. He's the creepy husband dude in The Invitation. So if you haven't seen The Invitation, Karen Kusama's The Invitation, also on Netflix, also really good. Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Michiel Huisman are that's what I'm looking for. Engaged. They have known each other since they were kids. They've been in love this whole time. They think they're pregnant. Spoilers, she's dying of cancer. So it's one of those movies. And it follows them going through the after effects of this diagnosis, her wanting to try to find someone for him dealing with her type A control of her own death, and of their relationship, really, because you can control your own death, but you can't necessarily control how people are going to react to that. It also includes scenes with her support group. The therapist is played by Steve Coogan in a very toned-down Steve Coogan performance, as well as Timothy Simmons, Kate McKinnon, Christopher Walken, Zach Cherry, and I'm not sure who, Alana Masterson, I think was the other one. She also finds solace in a barista slash photographer played by Gail Rankin and her co-worker played by Jesse Ennis. And then at one point you also have Brian Tyree Henry and Jackie Weaver. This is the second film this week that I've seen that co-stars Jesse Ennis, Brian Tyree Henry, and Kate McKinnon, all three of whom share no scenes in this movie and shared no scenes in Family as well. All very good. The best thing in this film really is Christopher Walken. He's in old wise man mode the whole time, but also sort of joke cracking Christopher Walken. I think he's quite good. Really enjoyed him in this film. I wish the film were a little better, but it's kind of a cliched cancer movie regardless of its fine cast. But Gugu's great in everything, so I'll watch her in pretty much anything. I have not watched the Netflix sci-fi movie yet for her, but I will. I'll get to it because it's her and Gugu, and David Oyelowo. I love them both. So this is Irreplaceable You. It's not a great film. It's not a terrible film. It's just definitely in middle of the road film. The next one I watched has a terrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes, even worse than Irreplaceable You, terrible rating. But I quite enjoyed it, so I'm not really sure why the rating is so bad. It's directed by Rebecca Zlotowski and co-written by Rebecca Zlotowski and Robin Campillo. Robin Campillo also wrote and directed Beats Per Minute last year. Beats Per Minute, really good film. This one stars Natalie Portman and Lily Rose as a pair of sisters traveling through France in the 30s. They are spiritualists. This is sort of towards the end of that whole craze that started sort of at the late 1900s and saw its way through 1800s and saw its way through World War II with spiritualism and mystics. And there was still some of that later in the post-war years, but not as popular as it was sort of at the zenith of the 30s. They at a cabaret. They meet a film producer played by Emmanuel Salinger, who is really into this and wants a private seance, but then also wants to sort of film their seances, and then convinces his production company to finance a film starring them filming a seance. Things go awry as we start heading towards World War II, and it is discovered that this director is actually not named Andrei Korbin, but named Korbinski, and he was a Polish Jew who fled Poland for France. But as you well know, towards the beginning of the war, it was not great to be Jewish in any country, and that causes that, coupled with the fact that he's letting his thoughts about seances overwhelm his ability to actually make sure he's making a good film, sort of crumbles. And so the film is sort of an interesting look at imagery and magic and the medium of film as a medium of mediums. Who's to say what's real, what imagery is false, since all imagery is sort of capturing what was never really real to begin with. It gets very deep there. And just an interesting look at the end of the 30s in Europe. The director's father was apparently Polish who fled Poland for being Jewish. So it sort of adds a layer of the brewing anti-Semitism, both in the 30s and sort of continually throughout Europe, and now we're seeing a rise of it here in America as well. I thought Natalie Portman was very good in this. It's one of the most beautiful she's ever looked. I was really surprised by how much Lily Rose Depp looks both just like her mother and also just like Natalie Portman. I really bought them as sisters. So this is a stylistically experimental film. It's never quite 100% coalesces, but I think what it was trying to say is there, and I think it's filled with compelling imagery and compelling storytelling. It's just not 100% there. It's also on Netflix, so you can watch both these films on Netflix. They're both directed by women. Love them, hate them. I don't know. I was enjoyed by both of them. Not just because I was up at 5 in the morning. I have so many more movies I'm going to watch for the rest of my day because it's only noon. And I have already been awake for 7 hours. I've got a movie in theaters I want to go see, but it's raining. We'll see if I venture out of my cozy house. I also need to go grocery shopping, so it'll probably happen. So this was Stephanie Laing's Irreplaceable You and Rebecca Zlotowski's Planetarium, inexplicably listed as The Summoning on IMDb. Please ignore that title.